Good morning. Welcome to New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Amber Davidson, and I am a prayer practitioner here at NTNC. We gather together from the comfort of our homes to express love, to practice radical acceptance and inclusion, and to connect with one another and with Spirit. For those of you who know this, you can say it along with me. We are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. The practitioner holding all of NTNC in consciousness today is me, and I'm available for prayer after service if you'd like to come get a prayer. So settle back down, and we go within. And we start with a lovely opening song, and then I'll be back for our opening prayer.
Oh, good morning, all you beautiful, powerful individuals. Here we go. Take me to the water and I'll dive right in. I'm ready to let go of everything that's been. I said take me to the mountain and I'll climb on up. From the highest peak, beauty's gonna fill my cup. I say yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, knowing all is well. I throw routine right out the door. When I'm scared, I know it leads me to something more. I widen my gaze and see that all there is. Take a leap of faith, gonna find that bliss. I say yes, I say yes, knowing all is well. Here we go. I say yes, yes, I say yes, I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, knowing all is well. One more of those. I say yes, yes, I say yes, I say yes, yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, I say yes, 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 knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, knowing all is well. I say yes, I say yes, knowing all is well.
That was Jimmy Eads, our fabulous music director. Thank you, Jimmy. And I hope all of you were saying yes, too. And now, if you'd like to join me, and if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes as we go within and take this moment to connect to each other and to connect with Spirit. Spirit, the divine, the creator of all, that creative force, that creative energy, that thing that creates all the beauty of the clouds in all of the unlimited variations, the endless snowflakes of variety, of creative, individual beauty, all from the creative force, that place of pure potential, that place of all possibilities, where everything and anything and all things are manifest in that beautiful, calm grace, that place that creates us in all of our individual, beautiful forms, that force that moves through us and as us, through our profound connection. We are one with that. We are one with the clouds. We are one with the snowflakes. We are one with the creative force of individual beauty. And I am so thankful for this time together, for this time to appreciate all of the amazing snowflakes, all of the amazing clouds, all of the amazing beings that are spirit in motion. I'm thankful for the musicians and the ministers and the prayers and the practitioners and the technical support, all things that make this time together possible. And I'm thankful for you, the people that are watching, that are supporting NTNC, that are one in family, one in spiritual tribe, that are one together as individual, beautiful expressions of the divine. And knowing that all things in this moment are as they should be, are moving forward in perfect beauty and creative energy. I just release this, knowing that it's already so, and if you would like to join me in saying it, we say, and so it is.
Good morning. Thank you, Amber. That was beautiful. Thank you so, so much. So I'd like to start today with how we do. We harmonize our hearts and minds. And if you would just touch your heart, do this with us. Take 3 big, deep breaths and say with me out loud in your space, care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. It is so good to be with you today in this space. It's finally spring a little here in Colorado, which means it's still going to snow again, but nonetheless, it feels like spring. And let's see, today in the Christian tradition, it's Palm Sunday. In the Hebrew tradition, this Friday is the beginning of Passover, as well as Good Friday. That's an interesting combination. And in the U.S. tradition, it's time to get your taxes done. And it was opening week for baseball. So spiritual practices abound in all things, right? It has been an interestingly message-laden week for me. I have found that there is this weaving of messages that have some very common threads in them. And so I have four stories, I guess, or four pieces of this tapestry I want to share with you today, and know that at the end of the day, they've woven together in some way that you've created that serves your week this week. Ernest Holmes wrote, "Think of yourself as being in partnership with this divine presence and its creative law. Learn to trust this presence as you trust the simple fact that you are living. Do not be afraid to throw yourself in complete abandonment and with perfect acceptance into its soft embrace, for it is closer than your very breath and nearer to you than your hands and feet. It is right where you are." Think of yourself as being in partnership with this divine presence and its creative law. So baseball started this week. I went and found one. Now, I'm not really a baseball watcher because for me, like baseball just takes way too long. And I'm sure that there's another piece of learning and something in that for me also, but I don't really have time for that today. So there you go. But let's talk for a moment about pitchers and catchers and being in partnership with this divine presence. So you see, when I thought about this, I thought, we're all pitchers. We are at the center of our own team, in the middle of our own field of experience, wisdom, and our experience and wisdom, and the voices of the other players that we have let onto our field. And we have our own set of pitches that we are really great at. Some of them we're really good at. Some of them we might need more practice. Some of them we're great. You might be a really good knuckleball thrower. I think that's how I remember that. And you, on the other hand, might be really good at throwing curveballs. And I'm going to say there's no judgment in these names or any story about these names. It's just that I have to work with what baseball calls them today. You with me? So I think the batter is our negative thinking. The batter is our God blocker, shifting around and kicking the dirt and trying to keep us from throwing an easy strike. And the God blocker is in this negative thinking place. It wants nothing more than to hit a line drive right back at us. And it really wants to hit a home run the opposite direction right out of the park. So then Spirit, the catcher, Spirit, the divine intelligence, I think that's the catcher. Now, I don't know if you've ever played baseball or watched baseball, but catchers, they get to call the pitch that they think is the best one to get the ball past that batter. The thing is, while it seems like the catcher is calling the shots, the pitcher in every time has the option to wave off what has been called. So the pitcher ultimately gets to agree. You wait. The catcher has to keep calling shots until the pitcher agrees with the pitch that is being called. So the pitcher is really kind of in control of the game in that way. Now we can call this meditation and intuition. We could call this that longing within ourselves to bring forth beauty and creativity and joy into the world. We can know that as soon as we say yes to the pitch and we pick the one, you see the catcher spirit there, that's infinite possibility. It's throwing out infinite possibility. It is up to us to land the pitch that we want to throw. And then it's just kneeling there, ready to catch it. Sounds easy, right? Now, one of the other great things in this is that we could load the ball up with all of the hurts, all of the disappointments, all of the prior bad pitches before we let it go. And we can know that as soon as it hits the catcher's mitt, boom, all that stuff could stay right there because we made it past the batter of doubt and we have begun the work of our healing. But here's what I've noticed. We love to hang on to this stuff. We love to stare at it and roll it around and bounce it back and forth in our glove and take it out some more and maybe even hold it a little closer, right? Sometimes that. And sometimes we clear our head and we take a big, deep breath and we've nodded with the catcher and we agree on the pitch. We know what it is we want to throw. And we lean back and we stretch and we wind up and what if I told you at the end of the stretch that for any of this to work, for any of this to bring us into greater connection and greater life expression and greater trust and greater reciprocity with the universe, for any of it to work, we actually have to let go of the ball. The only way for the universe to catch our dreams and our vision and our prayer, the only way it can return the ball to us so we can experience the results and then expand and practice and do it again is for us to let go and trust that we have aimed true. And we have to be willing to play the game, of course, which is probably a whole other talk. So it's good I'm going to be talking more because I'm like making up more talks as we go through this talk. But first, we have to let go of the ball. Now, it's an interesting time for letting go and trusting. So much has been changing, and so many things sound a little scary around the edges. And yet, I absolutely know that the arc of this planet, the arc of the universe, has always been towards greater good, greater inclusivity, greater kindness and compassion. And I have to believe that that continues to be true, even if I can't always see it. So the second piece of fabric for today's weaving. Now, as you might guess, there's also some shifting and changing around our house. Reverend Jenny coming to the realization that she is really needed to step back from ministry a bit and has been really heart-wrenching for her. And thank you to those who sent notes. It meant a great deal to her because like most of us in ministry, she has trouble seeing where she's made a difference in anyone's life. And those notes really helped. Anyway, for months, she and I and Reverend Leah, of course, have been in these conversations about the next right things for NTNC and what is the spiritual community of the 21st century and how do we meet the needs of a diverse community with kids and not kids and this and that and the other. And so, like we sent out a survey. And so a little sidebar, we asked a question, do you want to meet online at 10? Do you want to meet in person at 5 or continue to do both? 64 of you beautiful souls answered the survey, and there is a perfect 33.333% split amongst all three of those answers. So we're still sorting through that, and we'll have more for you all later. But in the midst of all of this conversation, which is very constant in my life because of the work I do also outside of NTNC, this is very constant conversation. In the midst of that, there has been this plastic tub of files in our house. So you see, about 2.5 years ago, when we moved out of our building at New Thought, Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living at the Outlet Mall, I had about 15 minutes to clear out my office. And I took all the files that were in various drawers in my office and I put them in this plastic bin. And it has actually been sitting under a desk in our kitchen. It didn't even get to the storage room. It has been sitting under a desk in our kitchen waiting for me to sort it for 2.5 years. Now, do you ever not want to deal with something so much that you can practically trip over it for months and actually not see it anymore? Apparently, I can do that. So last week, Jenny and I are purging and spring cleaning and trading offices, and I decide to tackle the tub. Now, I couldn't even remember what was in there anymore. And it was class registration forms from 10 years ago, lists of names of people, a lot of whom I haven't, some of you who are still here, and some who I haven't seen for a very long time. Pitch. Practitioner registration forms that Brooke and Christine and then Jelaine and Warren and Joni and Deborah J. and Kelly and the people that I taught, still in this file drawer. Don't need those anymore. Cards from people that some things changed their life. Drawings and plans for buildings that we talked about building and creating for NTNC just 3 years ago. Recycle. Pitch. the vision we created in 2015. I did share that with Leah. Old classes that I had created, workshops that I did years and years and years ago. Pitch. And I was going through all of this and having a lot of feely feelings, I have to admit, lots of feely feelings. But I also had this, as I sat there and like, what does this mean? Why did it take me so long to do this? I had this like sort of peaceful, calm understanding come over me that was very clear that we are just not who we were. Every one of us has changed deeply in the last 2 years, like we would at any time. It just seems more amplified right now because we were away from each other. So because we are a spiritual community made up of individual people who have all been changed, our beloved spiritual community is changing as well. And many of us, I don't know about you, but for me, like, I feel like I've been waiting for something, a sign, the right intuitive hit, the pull to something, but kind of sitting in inertia, and again, I'll speak for myself, but I kind of think we've all been a little stunned. I feel like I forgot that I'm the pitcher. I'm waiting for something to come to me instead of pulling something from me or recognizing that whatever it is within me. And even a year ago, I think if I had gone through the tub, I would have held on to so many of those little pieces of paper and held on to some sadness and held on to some, wow, we did some really cool things years ago. Most of them don't translate into today, you know? And so it's time to let go of the ball and trust. And so while we here at NTNC, we are still made up of many of the same names. There are many of you, the same names. None of us are the same people. And what is clear to me in that is that these beautiful teachings, the things that held us here to begin with, the things that brought us here to begin with, they remain solid. We might want to talk about them differently. We've created more inclusive language. We're creating more inclusive language around many of them. We've become aware of some of the fallacies in some of them where privilege is concerned. But the underlying things, the basics, one of my teachers once reminded me when I got all lofty about something, I got the look and I was like, it's always about the base. She said, it's always about the basics. And here are the basics that I see right now. This is a universe of love. It is reciprocal in nature, and what we put into it returns to us. We are at play with the infinite intelligence, and we can create a life that we love. When we act with love and compassion, it amplifies in our experience. Same when we act with apathy or disgust or hatred or lack of compassion. The laws of the universe work the same for everyone, regardless of how they are used. And it is up to us to change our thinking and change how we use them so that we have the experience that we want to create. We have to go out in the field and play, and we have to let go of the ball. So again, think of yourself as being in partnership with this divine presence and its creative law. Learn to trust this presence as you trust the simple fact that you are living. Do not be afraid to throw yourself in complete abandonment and with perfect acceptance into its soft embrace, for it is closer to you than your very breath and nearer to you than your hands and feet. It is right where you are. Third strand of the weaving, and this one's shorter. I was on the phone supporting another minister this week, and as all the conversations, as I already told you these days, after dealing with the thing that we were dealing with, we got into the conversation about the future of spiritual community, how things are changing, all the things. And she said something really beautiful that I asked her if I could share with you. She says to me, we all know that everything changes all the time. Everything has always been in motion all the time. It is always changing. The ground is always moving beneath our feet. It's just that we knew the pattern, so we knew the steps. And now The ground continues to move, but the pattern has changed. And we just haven't figured out the steps yet. So thank you, Reverend Linda. That was comforting. Do not be afraid to throw yourself in complete abandonment and with perfect acceptance into its soft embrace, for it is closer than your very breath and nearer to you than your hands and feet. When I hear those words, I could not help but think of being in a dance, a close, slow dance with someone that we love and trust. And when we're really in that dance, it weaves. Sometimes we lead, sometimes we follow, sometimes we're both doing those things together at the same time. But we can trust that we aren't going to fall down and that no one is letting go of us. Fourth strand is a poem I stumbled on, and I'll close with this today, by a woman named Sheelin Harkin. And she writes this: say wow. Each day, before the surroundings become flat with familiarity and the shape of our lives click into place, dimensionless and average as Tetris cubes, before hunger knocks from our bellies like a cantankerous old man and the duties of the day stack up like dishes and the architecture of our basic needs commissions all thought to construct the four-door sedan of safety, before gravity clings to our skin like a cumbersome parasite and the colored dust of dreams sweeps itself obscure in the vacuum of reason, each morning, before we wrestle the world and our hearts into the shape of our brains, look around and say, wow. Feed yourself fire. Feed yourself fire. Scoop up the day entire like a planet-sized bouquet of marvel sent by the universe directly into your arms and say, wow. Break yourself down into the basic components of primitive awe and let the crescendo of each moment carbonate every capillary and say, wow. Say it with me. Wow. Who wants prayer? And so I know in this day, absolutely, that we are connected across time and space in this beautiful, beautiful universe. And I know that the arms of grace are around each and every one of us, as I know the arms of grace are around somehow all the things in the world that look not like peace. That there is a moment in every life today that speaks of the possibility and potential of peace. That there is a comfort to those who are wounded and hurting. All of us in this world who are wounded and hurting, that there is moments of comfort and peace and compassion. That there is life, and life, just so much life and wow and awe. That there is kindness and compassion. That there is a release of that which does not serve any of us. And there is an embrace of the truth of love. I hold this space today for anyone within the sound of my voice who is in need or wants of comfort or release, that this moment, oh, that you just know that we hold you, that you are loved beyond measure. I give thanks for the moments of evidence. I give thanks for the moments that I see that the world is actually working towards something greater and something more beautiful and something kinder and something more inclusive and something that works for all of us. I hold that truth to be the absolute truth, that we can and shall and will create a world that works for all of us. I give thanks for the beauty of this day, for the rain and the snow and the sun and the wind and all of the things that this new growth and new plantings and flowers and all of the things that bring us evidence of new life every single year are right in front of us to say wow and awe. I know today, I'm going to just know today that there is a space within you that is cared for. And I'm going to let this fly. I'm going to let this prayer fly out there in such a way that I know that the universe is catching it and it is throwing back something so much more beautiful and magnificent than I can even imagine. And I want to ask you to hold that possibility with me by saying, and so it is.
All right, you guys, this is one of my favorite Joni Mitchell songs. It's off of Song to a Seagull, 1968, I think. And it's going to be really fun when we do it tonight with Julie. But for now, you've got to settle for just me. Light up, light up, light up your lazy blue eyes. Moon's up, night's up, taking the town by surprise. Nighttime, nighttime, day left an hour ago. City light time, must you get ready so slow? There are places to come from and places to go. Night in the city looks pretty to me. Night in the city looks fine. Music comes spilling out into the street. Colors go flashing in time. Take off, take off, take off those stay-at-home shoes. Break off, shake off, chase off those stay-at-home blues. Stairway, stairway, down to the crowds in the street. They go their way, looking for faces to meet. But we went on laughing with no one to meet. Night in the city looks pretty to me. Night in the city looks fine. Music comes spilling out into the street. Colors go waltzing in time.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. I love that guy. Oh, so, here's the thing. We are supported in bringing this message to the world and the work that we do completely by you, those of you who are listening and attending and showing up with us. And so there are multiple ways to give to this gorgeous organization. And they're in the chat and on our website and all of those places. You can mail them if you like mail. But most importantly, I'd like to ask you to just put your hand on your heart and say this. Oh, say it after me. I don't know. Spirit's abundance flows through me. Joyfully, and you got to say that, joyfully, I share my good. I think we have another song.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Oh, let these words wash over you. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all beings. Know that you are.
Spirit, know my name. Call me home and light these darkened days. Oh, Spirit, show your truth in all we do. Let love be our legacy. Oh, let love be our legacy. Yes, let love be our legacy.
Thank you for being with us this morning. Have a really, really blessed day, a beautiful Holy Week. And know that you are loved.